cheated!
To start Hunter x Hunter off, Gon leaves his hometown Whale Island to become a hunter and to search for his father Jing, who left him when he was just a baby to be a hunter, hence the name Hunter Hunter. On the boat ride to the hunter exam site, Gon meets Kurapika and Leorio and creates a bond over saving someone. Apparently the boat ride was a test for the hunter exam, and so the captain passes them and drops them off at the nearest port to the hunter exam. They then make their way to the hunter exam site after passing 3 tests on the way, and on their arrival, they get a good look at the other applicants and each gets assigned an identification number. Soon after, the examiner's thoughts arrives and starts the first phase of the hunter exam. The objective for the first phase is to follow the examiner to the destination without any given details on the distance. While going forward, Gon meets Killua and pretty much becomes friends on the spot. As the applicants are moving through the fog, they get lost, including Gon and Killua. Meanwhile, Kurapika and Leorio are grouped up and encounters Hisoka. Kurapika runs for it, but Leorio decides to take on Hisoka. With Hisoka having a higher caliber and strength, Leorio then takes a fat L. That's when Gon arrives and takes on Hisoka and also takes an L. Hisoka then spares both of them because he sees potential in the two of them. Hisoka then leaves, taking Leorio with him, and heads to the finish line of the first phase. Shortly after, Kurapika returns and heads to the finish with Gon, reuniting with Leorio and Killua. Moving forward to the second phase, the objective is to hunt a great stamp and cook a dish with it, with the ultimate goal being to satisfy the 2 gourmet hunter examiners, Menchi and Buhara. Menchi was dissatisfied with the applicants' dishes and fails everyone. That's when the Hunter Association's chairman Netero arrives and tells Menchi the exam that she has set up is unacceptable. Menchi then sets up another challenge, giving the applicants another chance. The goal for this challenge is to collect an egg from a spider eagle's nest. Some applicants dropped out, some applicants died, and the rest succeeded, including Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio. Moving forward, all the applicants that passed the second phase of the hunter exam is now being transported to the site of the third by airship. On the ride, most of the applicants rested, and Killua reveals to Gon that he comes from a family of assassins. Moving forward, the applicants arrive at the site of the third phase, which is the top of Trick Tower. The objective is to make it to the bottom of this tower within 72 hours. With that being said, Gon, Kurapika, Leorio, and Killua enter the tower through stone tiles. They then see that they need a 5th person to proceed, and so they wait. After waiting 2 hours, Fat Bitch drops by, and so they proceed through the tower with him. As they are going through the tower, they encounter an obstacle where they have to defeat 3 out of the 5 prisoners, with the rule being they have to challenge each prisoner one-on-one, and each applicant can only participate once. They pass through this obstacle after a series of fights and challenges, but they receive a 50-hour penalty due to an outcome of Leorio's match. After serving the penalty, they arrive at the bottom of Trick Tower with roughly 1 minute to spare, and so they pass the third phase. The passing applicants now move on to the fourth phase, which takes place on Zevel Island. On the ship ride there, each applicant is assigned a target through drawing cards. As a result, Gon is assigned Hisoka for his target. On that note, let me just take a moment to explain the rules of the fourth phase. An applicant is required to gather 6 points to pass this phase. Points are obtained through stealing identification tags. Target identification tags are worth 3 points, an applicant's assigned tag is worth 3 points, and all other tags are worth 1. Moving forward, the applicants disperse into the island, one by one, 2 minutes apart. When Gon enters the island, he thinks of ways to obtain Hisoka's tag, and comes to the decision that he'll use his fishing rod. He then practices his timing and accuracy, and discovers the best time to strike, which is when Hisoka is occupied with another target. Gon then searches the tournament is that killing is restricted, and forcing an opponent to admit defeat is the only way to win a match. If an applicant does kill but won't give up, after several attempts on trying to get Gon to give up, Hanzo surrenders, explaining that he'll take his chances with the next match. Afterwards, Hanzo uppercuts Gon after knocking Gon out. Gon then wakes up and is rewarded his hunter license by Stotts. Stotts then older brother Illumi, who was disguised as Gita Rocker. In the match, Illumi tells Killua to quit on being a hunter and assassin. Killua then responds that he doesn't care about being a hunter and he just wants to be friends with Bodoro. As the match starts, Killua appears behind Bodoro. You guessed incorrectly. Fuck out of my house! Which hand?
That one.
God damn it. Shortly after, Killua enters the room, and so he heads out with Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio. After that, Leorio departs to study to become a doctor, and Kurapika departs to look for a job as a hunter. But before doing so, they agree to meet up on September 1st at York New City.
You can't try!
With Gon and Killua remaining in the group, Killua introduces the idea that they should participate in the Heavens Arena tournament, so that way they could train as well as earn money. They both sign up to the Heavens Arena tournament, and dominates the 50th floor. Before I continue, let me just take a moment to explain the Heavens Arena. There are a total of 251 floors to the Heavens Arena, and victories move competitors up floors. Every 50 floors, competitors are rewarded with Jenny. After making it to the 100th floor, competitors are designated a private room. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's continue. On the elevator ride up to the 50th floor, Gon and Killua meet Zushi, and soon after they meet his master Wing. Moving forward, Killua goes up against Zushi in a match. He knocks Zushi down multiple times, but Zushi manages to recover each time. Zushi then unleashes a strange aura, which frightens Killua because it's similar to the aura that his brother Illumi releases. Shortly after, Zushi's master Wing stops him. With Zushi getting back up constantly, this annoyed Killua, and so he hits a home run with Zushi, winning the match with a ring out. After the match, Killua overhears Wing lecturing Zushi about something along the lines of Ren, and talks to Gon about it. Gon and Killua then get curious over the idea of Ren, and goes to Zushi to ask about it. Shortly after, after Wing appears and brings up something about Nen. With Killua very curious, he asks Wing to teach him about the concept of Nen. Wing agrees, bringing both Killua and Gon to his room to demonstrate and explain the 4 principles of Nen, which is Ten, Zetsu, Ren, and Hatsu. Moving forward, Gon and Killua make it to the 200th floor. As they are heading to the receptionist, they are stopped by Hisoka. Hisoka then releases a powerful force in Nen, restricting them from going any further, telling them that they're not ready for the 200th floor. Shortly after, Wing appears and offers to teach them lessons to learn Nen. Using a frowned upon procedure, Wing blasts both of them with his Nen, opening the aura nodes throughout Gon and Killua's body. With their Nen rapidly flowing, Gon and Killua quickly learn how to control their Nen, being able to use Ten. Gon and Killua then return back to Hisoka. Hisoka tries to stop them once again, but was unable to because they used Ten to counter Hisoka's Nen. Gon then tells Hisoka that he intends to fight him, but Hisoka refuses to fight him unless he wins a single match on the 200th floor. Shortly after, Hisoka leaves. Moving forward, Gon goes up against Gedo, who uses Nen to manipulate tops as weapons. With that being said, Gon gets taking a brutal final blow. After a month of recovery and some consistent Nen training, Gon rematches Gedo, except this time, he brings his fishing rod. With Gon's increased mastery in Nen, he manages to deflect Gedo's attacks. While Gedo is spinning as a defense, Gon says, "Whoopsie daisy," flipping the tile under Gedo with his fishing rod. He then follows up with a punch, breaking Gedo's pogo stick leg. With Gedo unable to fight, Gon wins the match. Moving on to the next match, we got Killua and Rayvelt. Killua manages to win because of his immunity to electricity, due to the torture he received back home, and so he uses Rayvelt's own weapon against him. Rayvelt is then given another chance to redeem himself and goes up against Gon, and as a result he takes a fat L once again. Bravo! Bravo! As Gon is walking out of the arena, he encounters Hisoka. Hisoka then tells Gon to pick a time and place ability from won't be able to use it anymore. With that being said, Corolla knocks her out and dips afterwards. Moving forward, Corolla tells the members of the troop to go wild on their way to the auction. Meanwhile, the 10 Dons hire Silva and Zeno Zoldiak to take care of the Phantom Troop at the auction. They end up fighting Carollo and starts a pretty juicy fight. After fighting for a bit, Illumi calls Silva, telling him that he has killed the 10 Dons because he was hired by Carollo to do so. Shortly after, Silva and Zeno leave because there's no reason to continue fighting if they ain't getting paid. Moving forward, the Scarlet Eyes are up for auction and Kurapika buys them after being ordered to by his boss. Prior to that, the Phantom Troop fakes their deaths using Quarter P's Nen ability to create fake corpses. Upon finding out the troop is quote-unquote dead, this put Kurapika in a bit of a depression because he kinda lost his purpose. Moving forward, Corolla orders the troop to leave York New City, but Nobunaga refuses to because he wants to stay to avenge his buddy boy Uvagin. That's when Corolla uses the fortune-telling Nen ability he stole from Neon on most of the members in the troop, including Hisoka. Through doing this, they infer Shizuku, Shellnark, and Pakunoda will die by next week. They then read Hisoka's fortune and gets furious believing Hisoka is a traitor because his fortune says he'll meet up and team up with the Chain User, also exposing the abilities of some of the troop members. His fortune even mentions the time he'll face Corolla. After they are walking towards the airship, Hisoka appears. Hisoka then asks to get on board. Alright, that's enough! Moving forward, the auction for Greed Island has begun. After the auction, Gon and Killua for hunters to clear the game. He puts both of them through a brief test to see if they are worthy to enter Greed to reach his expectations, and so Killua comes up with the idea to create all players who die here die in real life. Nani? Upon exiting the room, the ring that Jin gave to Gon activates, playing a message. Gon and Killua then group up and explore Greed Island. While they're exploring, they're being followed by this girl. This girl is later identified as Biscuit, or Bisky for short. She then explains that she's a pro hunter, and that she'll use her 40 years of knowledge on Nen to instruct them. Bisky then reveals that she was Wing's Nen teacher, and as she is explaining, she senses a person creeping up on them. Bisky then confronts the guy and wipes him out with ease. After seeing her strength, Gon and Killua train under her after asking. Using the goon that she just knocked down, Bisky uses him as a training dummy for Gon and Killua. Through this training, they both get an increase in agility, and afterwards, they let this scrub go because they don't need that bitch no more. Moving forward, Gon and Killua resume more training, and while doing so, they realize the next Hunter exam is coming up. So Killua acquires and uses a passage ticket card to return back to the real world to obtain his Hunter's license. After earning his license, Killua returns to Greed Island, and this is when Bisky declares that they beat the game. On their journey, they collect a good handful of restricted cards, and then encounters this NPC. This NPC then tells them to go to a pirate base with the objective to get the pirates to leave the city, telling them that if they succeed, they will be rewarded with the Patch of Shore restricted or Hulk form, and pounds borrowed to the ground. Next, we got Killua and Sub, and it looks like Killua outplays him, bashing that 15 yo-yo into his head, and so this now leaves Gon to settle his fight with Genthru. They then tie up Genthru, Sub, and Bara, and brings them all to one and demand that they give up their cards that they stole from other Greed Island players. After Gon has possession of 99 out of the 100 restricted cards, the last card that Gon needs. Shortly after, an announcement notifies all it's a quiz contest, and with that being said, Gon scores the highest, acquiring the final card he needed. As a reward for beating the game, Gon is able to take 3 restricted cards from Greed Island for use in the real world, so Gon gathers up with Killua and Bisky, deciding that each of them chooses one card. Bisky chooses the blue planet, Gon chooses the Paladin's necklace, and Killua chooses an accompany card disguised as a Patch Ashore restricted card, using a transform card. Gon uses his Paladin's necklace to revert Killua's card back to the accompany. This is when Gon recalls being the first one in Greed Island and seeing the name Nig in his recently encountered players. Putting this as an anagram, it spells out Jing. Gon then suspects that his father brought him to Greed Island when he was just a baby. So with that being said, Gon and Killua say their farewells to Bisky and uses the accompany card to transport themselves to the individual under the name Nig, in hopes of finding the Chimera Ant's nest. Meanwhile, the Queen Chimera Ant has consumed her first human and now craves them. Through the process of phagogenesis, pause the video for information on that, she produces a Chimera Ant naming him Colt. He's the first ant able to communicate with speech and have a human-like personality. Through the consumption of more humans, she creates more Chimera Ants like Colt with various personalities. After producing enough soldiers, the queen now aims to give birth to her royal guardian, the king. Run, bitch, her! Well, that's what happens when you skip leg day. Moving forward, as they are navigating through NGL, they encounter a Chimera Ant named Ramit. As a way to see if Gon and Killua are qualified for the mission, Kite tells them to take him on. So Gon and Killua hits Ramit up with an extra juicy combo. Aura. Kite then tells Gon and Killua to run, but before they knew it, ability, she gets discovered. Moving forward, the king is still taking massive L's against Komugi, causing him to obsess over his matches. With that being said, Poof begins holding a grudge against her. Moving forward a bit more, Komugi gets attacked by a hawk, and the king comes in and saves her, afterwards showing concern for her. Upon doing this, the king starts questioning his morals, because he just saved a human. Moving forward once again, Ikugo and Malorion join the Chimera Ant extermination team, and they all gather up in Nose Dimension minutes before the selection. On the start of the selection, all citizens in the area begin to move towards the palace. When they arrive at the palace, Poof uses his Nen ability to hypnotize them to follow his commands to stay put. And so, the time has come to start their operation to stop the selection, using Node's portal to enter the palace. Just as they start their operation, Zeno and Netero drops by the palace, and Zeno uses his Dragon Dive technique, making it rain hella arrows. As the extermination team arrive at the central stairway, there stood Yuppie, who ends up destroying the stairway, dividing the team. With the Nen arrows devastating the palace, Komugi ends up getting hit, which brings the king to feel that feeling when you lose all your money gambling. Shortly after, Zeno and Netero arrive, and both stood there out of respect. The king then orders Pito to heal Komugi, and shortly after that, he tells Netero they can fight somewhere else. On Netero's way out, he sees Gon, and points to the direction where Pito is. After that, Zeno creates an End Dragon for Netero and the king, to transport them to a wasteland where they can fight. Meanwhile, Knuckles, Shoot, and Milorion are all going up against Yuppie. With Knuckle invisible because of Milorion's ability, he manages to land a hit on Yuppie, activating his Nen ability. After fighting for a bit, Shoot reaches his limit, and so Knuckle decides to take on Yuppie, baiting him away from Shoot. Moving forward, Ikugo makes his way to the underground using an elevator, in search of Palm, giving general information on where she should be. After searching for a good while, he finds out that she's dead through a message she wrote by Netero's attacks. The king managed to detach 2 of Net's control room where Ikugo is. Viewed as a threat, Ikugo shoots him. Moving forward, the war with the Chimera Ants is over. Gon is on life support